Hello world, my name is Helen Athey. With me in the studio is Pastor Bumi Owolabi, a motivational speaker and entrepreneur with the depth of knowledge to be a world changer. Welcome to the studio, Pastor.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Well, could you give us a brief introduction about yourself, Pastor?
All right. Well, my name is Pastor Bumi Owolabi. I'm the senior pastor of Kingdom Embassy Church here in Austell, Georgia, in the U.S.
Great. Well, talking about the book, what will be the difference in the mentality of the wealthy versus the poor?
Yeah. Now, I mean, like you rightly said, it's all about mindset. The difference between the poor man and the rich man or the wealthy man is the mind, the way of thinking. You see, a wealthy man thinks wealth, but a poor man thinks welfare. A wealthy man is always thinking of solving problems, is always thinking of what he can contribute to the community. A wealthy man is always thinking of how he can meet the needs of the people in the community. But a poor man is more or less like a burden to the community, always thinking of what the community has to offer. And so that seems to be kind of a major difference between the poor man and the rich man.
Well, thank you. And what were your inspirations for writing this book?
My inspiration is simply kind of the burden I have, just kind of seeing the state of a lot of people in the church and also in our community. There are a lot of people who are having financial struggles, and I've been privileged to talk to so many people, and what I discover is that they always have the government to blame, they have the parents to blame, they have the community to blame, and they just have someone to blame for their financial struggles. But from personal experience, I've come to realize that there's just the need to educate the people as to how to make wealth.
Okay. Taking you back to the poor man, what would be your advice to the poor man?
My advice to anyone who is poor or who is having financial struggles is to first of all look inward. It's important for you to look inward. What is it that is in you that can be a benefit to your community? What are your potentials? What are your skill sets? What are your giftings? The moment you are able to find that out, now how can those things meet the needs of the people in my community? And the moment you're able to marry the two together, then you are in for wealth, because money will start coming in. Because the truth about it is people are willing to pay you for meeting their needs.
Okay, could you please give the audience a practical example of how you could start a business venture in tough times?
Yeah, in tough times there are opportunities. As a matter of fact, I believe there are more opportunities in tough times than any other time, and that I have seen over and over again. And the truth about it is, it doesn't matter how tough the time is. There are always problems that needs to be solved. It doesn't matter how tough the time is. There are always needs that needs to be met. And so it doesn't matter the time. You just kind of sit back and think about what the needs of the people are. The moment you're able to identify that, ask yourself, how can I meet these needs? The moment you're able to marry the two together, you start making money. I shared in one of the teachings I had recently that it is not your mistake to be born poor, but it will be a fault on your part to die poor. You have to understand that there's something in you that can actually get you out of poverty. Everybody has a potential in life. The problem with a lot of people is they do not discover the potentials in them. And I think that is just a major deficiency, in the lives of many who are struggling financially, not knowing, the resource in the inside of them, not knowing their potential, not discovering who they are, and not knowing how to engage, their world with their gifting and their talents and their skill sets. I think that is just a major thing that everybody needs to kind of pay attention to. Consider the fact that, you are a resource to your community. You are a resource, a great resource to your world. And the truth about it also is that there are needs in the community. There are a lot of needs. If you look around in your community, there are a lot of needs in the community. And people are willing to pay you for meeting their needs. And so in order to get out of the web and the quagmire of poverty, you have to kind of find out, what are the needs in my community? And then what are the giftings or the skill sets or the potentials that I have to meet those needs? People are willing to pay you for meeting their needs.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wisdom. So, how do you advise a person to start a business venture in the tough times?
Yeah, I mean, in order to start a business venture in a tough or difficult economy, the first thing you want to realize is that the economy is never a limiting factor with someone that has a wealth mentality. Not at all. As a matter of fact, in a very poor economy, there are a lot of opportunities that are out there. That's the truth about it. And so it's just kind of finding out, going back to what I said earlier, finding out what the problems of the people are in the community. The moment you are able to identify that, then go ahead and look inward. What potentials, what skill sets, what gifts, what are the resources that you have to meet those needs? The moment you're able to marry the two together, then you see yourself coming out of financial struggles, because the moment you start meeting the needs of the people, they will start paying you. You'll start making money like almost immediately.
Do you have a practical example?
Oh, sure. I remember when I was in school, going to the university, it was very quite challenging because I didn't have that financial resource to go to school. So when I got to the institution, I thought about how I would survive on campus. And, and my thinking pattern was, what were the needs of the students on campus? What were those things that they are in need of? And I discovered they were in need of folders that they could put their books in and stuff like that. And so I decided to look for, as somebody who does that. I don't know how to do folders. I don't know how to make it, but I went and did my research to look for somebody who was very good at making it, and I consulted him and I told him what my mission was, and he was willing to do that for me, do the folders for me at a very reasonable price. And then I made the folders. I also looked for an artist who could help me design the logo of my school, on that particular folder. And that was what I did, and I took those to campus, and initially I started hawking them, and I was selling few, and later on, because when you are doing something and you continue to do it, you continue to improve on it. Ideas begins to come the more, and I had an idea of actually, putting those in the bookstores, and students were coming to buy, and that was how I was able to pay my way out of school. That was a very classical example. Another example, as a pastor, my immediate community are actually pastors and churches. I relate with a lot of pastors, and churches, and I discover a need, in the churches. And the need simply is to do graphic works and printing and stuff like that, because an average church does programs, and all that. And I educated myself, on how to do those things, and I put it to work. And I'm being paid for meeting those needs in various churches, So basically, I've seen that pattern, that if you are able to identify the need in your community and you are able to, meet those needs, you would definitely come out of financial struggle.
Well, wow.
Yes.
Not only has he given you a practical example from a student point of view, he's also giving you a practical example in his professional life. Wow. That's depth of knowledge.
And I think it's important to quickly also mention something at that point, is that using the strength of others, the skills of others also. It's all about brokerage. You have to learn to broker. You see, whatever you do for people, when it comes to business, they don't really care how you do it. What they care about is the quality of what you've done. Are they satisfied with what you've done? And so that's just what that is all about.
Got you. Well, in the book you make different references about icons who failed several times in their lives before being success stories.
Yeah.
Could you go in depth about that?
Yeah, well, the reason I actually put that in the book is because I discover a pattern in the lives of all these successful people. I discovered that initially in their lives, they've all failed at one point in time or the other. Some of them were written off. In fact, some of them were just kind of pushed to the back of the line. But one thing that I discover is a pattern amidst all these people is their doggedness, their resilience, their tenacity. They weren't giving up. Someone like Abraham Lincoln, for example, you know, Abraham Lincoln was someone that had clusters of tragedies in his life. If you read the story of Abraham Lincoln, you will discover that until he was 50, he never recorded any significant success. And so it's important for you to know that that you have failed doesn't make you a failure. Failure is an event. It is not a person. And so you have to understand, if others failed and they succeeded, you can also fail and succeed. Failure is a raw material for success. It's something I've realized in the life of those people. And also another thing I realized about them is that they believe in themselves. They believe that it doesn't matter what they go through, that they are not giving up. It doesn't matter what people say to them, they're not giving up. And so it's important for you to understand you must not give up. It's a pattern that I've seen in the lives of successful people. They don't give up over their dreams. They are tenacious, they are dogged, they are rugged, and they are willing to pursue their goal with all it takes. And eventually, they have record success.
Wow,
Yeah.
Pastor, so much knowledge. Could you please tell the world your personal definition of failure again?
Yeah, my definition of failure is, you see, like I said, failure is an event. It is not a person. That you have failed does not make you a failure. Failure is the raw materials you need for success. I mean, think about all these end products that we use. They were once raw material. They were raw materials with which they were made. And so it's important for you to know also that the raw materials needed for success is failure. So don't consider yourself as a failure because you have failed. Because the truth about it, even going through the scriptures, the Bible says the righteous falleth 7 times and rises up again. In fact, the Bible even says, my enemies do not rejoice over me. When I fall, I will rise again. You see, a knockdown is different from a knockout. So that you are knocked down does not mean that you are knocked out. So it's important for you to realize that you have failed is not the end of your story. You still have, as a matter of fact, think about your life. If you can consider your conception as an individual, you will discover that even from conception, your story has been a story of success. There were multiplied millions of sperm cells like you. They had the same potential, the same capability. They had the same chance that you had. But multiplied millions of them failed. You succeeded out of millions. So I'm glad to announce to you that you are a success. You are not a failure. Your story is going to be a story of success. But you have to understand that successful people don't give up. Winners don't quit, and quitters don't win.
May I please emphasize in that? Failure
It's
is the
an
raw material of success.
That's
Word.
correct. Yes.
Okay, you zeroed into having investors, seeking investors, and investing in yourself first when it comes to making wealth in a bad economy. Emphasizing that, please.
Now, you know, it's quite interesting to know that, you know, there are people who have money, but they don't have ideas. And there are others also who have ideas and they don't have money. So it's important for you to strategically position yourself to attract investors. And how to do that is to find out what your giftings are, what your talents are, what your potentials are, what your skill sets are. All those things are very, very critical. You have to put those things to work. And as you begin little and you start putting those things to work, over time, people will begin to pay attention to what you're doing. And there are these passive investors who just keep their money in the savings account and don't know what to do with the money, who are willing to invest in your business the moment they see you doing something. The truth about it is, all these wealthy people will not just dump money on your lap. They won't just give you money if they don't see anything that you are doing. So if you are running around looking for help and you have nothing that you are doing, you may not get the help you need. But the moment you start doing something, people will start paying you attention. And the truth about life is this. You see, the world will always make a way for someone who knows where he's going. The moment you find out what you are good at doing and you start doing it and you start investing in yourself, and you begin to see result, investors will be attracted to you. And think about it. You see, nobody will invest in you if you have not, first of all, invested in yourself. So the key thing and the foundation is, how do I invest in myself? Think about that. And how to do that, like I said, is to find out what you have. The Bible says there are treasures in earthen vessels. There's so much in the inside of you already. Tap into those things, develop them. And the moment you start developing them, people will begin to pay you attention. And before you know it, you see investors coming to invest in your business.
Wow, sounds great. Pretty much tap into your giftings.
That's correct.
You tap into your giftings.
Yes.
And pretty much your future is trapped inside of you. Can I say that as well?
That's absolutely correct. Your future is in the inside of you. I've been sharing in a while that a lot of people, they are looking forward to, years ahead, and all that kind of stuff. Your years ahead begins in the inside of you. Many people are waiting for prophecy now as to what is going to happen. They're looking for some magic and miracles and stuff like that. But your future, your destiny is here. It's not in next year. It's not in 10 years. It's right in here. And that is why you have to continue to look more inward in terms of what you have in there and find a way you can tap into it and develop it. And that is where and when your future begins.
Knowledge. It's a lot of knowledge. So back to investors, seeking an investor. That takes me to the point of the effect of synergy. Can you emphasize on the point?
Quite interesting. When you read the book, I talk about synergy. You see, the law of synergy is the law of multiplying effect. It is the law that says you can never make a significant success alone. So it's important for you to learn that you need to interact with others in order to make significant success. Think about it. It doesn't matter how good you are, how talented and gifted you are. You have your areas of weaknesses. And so when you are doing business also, you have your area of strength and you have your areas of weaknesses. So what you have to do is to make sure you plug yourself into your area of strength, continue to develop yourself in that area while you look for others who have strength in your areas of weaknesses. Now, merge the two together, bring them on board, find a way to incorporate them into what you're doing, and then you will discover that you will make, significant success in life. Please do not do it alone. I tell people, one-man business has no future. If your business cannot open if you are not there, your business has no future. If your business cannot open when you are sick, your business has no future. So you have to develop and put a synergic system in place whereby even if you are not in the picture, your business can still move and thrive and work. And that's the way to make wealth.
Sounds great to me. So, from a spiritual point of view, may I ask you, how do people tap into their gifting?
Yeah, the way to tap into your gifting, first of all, is to identify, what you have passion doing. You see, the truth about it is this: there is nobody born without a gift. Everyone has something in the inside of him. So it's important for you to find out what you are good at doing. What do you have passion for? What is that thing that you do and you spend hours, you don't even know you have spent hours? What is that thing that you do that even if you're not paid for it, you will still do it anyway? What are those things that people are identifying with you, that people, anytime they want to talk about you, they'll just kind of make mention of it? It's important for you to begin to look critically into those areas of strength, and that is how to tap into your gifting. And the moment you are able to identify your gifting, all you have to do now is to find a way of developing your gifting. Because, I remember I spoke some time ago about building capacity. You have to learn to build your capacity as you identify the giftings that you have.
Okay, sounds great to me. Okay, so pretty much in conclusion, talking about to conclude with the book.
Yeah.
You said time as the currency of life. That to me is such a simple quote, but yet so vital, so important. Could you let the world know what you meant?
Now, you spend time like you spend money. You see, time is a portion of your life, and that is why I said time is a currency of life. You spend time as you spend money. And that is why it's important for you to find out, how am I spending my time? Because the truth about it all is you can either spend time or invest your time. And that is why I encourage those who are employed, learn how to deploy yourself. Because the truth about it is, whosoever employs you controls your time. And when your time is controlled and constrained, there is little you can do. So as an individual, you have to kind of plan and think of how to take control and take hold of your time. When you are able to take hold of your time, then you are able to do much. You can maximize the use of your giftings and your potentials and your ideas when you control your time. And I encourage those that are out there who are thinking, as perhaps they are looking forward into the future and they are thinking of what to do with their life. If you are thinking of what to do with your life, you have to first of all think of what to do with your time. And if you are not in control of your time, the first thing you want to do is to put a strategy in place by which you are able to control your time. And when you're able to do that, I can assure you that you can achieve more.
Time is the currency of life.
That's correct.
So use your time wisely. Hey, time is of the essence, as we could see. Tap into your gifting. Find investors. Start small, but finish strong.
Yeah.
Pastors, could you please let the world know where they could purchase a copy of How to Make Wealth in a Bad Economy?
Yeah, we have copies of this book available on Amazon.com. If you go to Amazon.com, we can get copies of How to Make Wealth on Amazon.com. If you also go to owoblue.com, if you need an e-copy of the book, you can go to owoblue.com and you're going to get an e-copy of the book. It's available there. And also, as a way of sowing back into the kingdom of God, we have decided to get the books also on kingdomembassychurch.org. If you want to support our ministry, you want to support what we do in the ministry, go to kingdomembassychurch.org, and then you can donate to the ministry. And as you sow into our ministry, we can also get a copy of the book across to you.
Well, I'm personally inspired by this book, so you must get your copy. Start small again and finish strong. Thank you.